when home builders start to take control of their lead generation systems to generate leads for their sales teams, often when they use a digital strategy, they start to get overwhelmed by the number of leads and the amount of follow-up that can ensue in order to turn those leads into sales. So a common statistic might be that out of every 20 leads that you get, only one of them will become a sales contract. So let's say, for argument's sake, you're paying $100 a lead. By the time you work through all of those leads, only one of them becomes a signed contract, which effectively means you've spent about $2,000 to win that customer. Just as an example, if you can halve that cost and get leads for $50, you're then paying about $1,000 to win a customer. So the numbers work out really well for home builders when you're selling a big ticket item like a brand new home. So if you think about that in terms of the numbers, 20 sales leads, how do you manage that kind of volume that's coming in every single week? And if you've got a large sales team, you might have 200 leads coming in. How do you manage that? And how do you follow up with people who don't pick up their phone, don't respond to the email, or who just ghost you when they say, give me a call at 5 o'clock, and they're actually not there and they don't turn up? What do? Well, you keep picking up the phone and ringing and ringing and ringing. But what if there's a better way? What if you could automate the best practices of your top selling salespeople so that all of your sales team benefit, and that overall you get an increase in the amount of leads that turn into appointments, which ultimately turn into signed contracts? So we help builders do this by organizing a CRM that has some automation rules in there to alleviate them from a lot of the mundane day-to-day follow-up. So I'm going to walk you through how we would set up a CRM, just to give you some ideas on what you may want to do for yourself and what you may want to implement for your building company. So if we look at this, the key stages are qualifying new leads as they come in, getting people to actually have a discussion with you and enter into dialogue, then moving them into a design and pricing phase, ultimately signing them onto a PPA, or preparations of plans agreement, where you then get all your working drawings done and engineering and so on, and then ultimately signing them into a building contract. Those are your key stages. But what you can also see here is I've put on 2 different stages so that when you use a CRM like this and you automate some of the rules, you can begin to automatically follow up when you've attempted to make contact, and follow up with information packs as you get people on the phone and you start discussing, so you can give them more information to help move them towards this critical design and pricing phase. So I'm going to walk you through how this would work. Let's say a new lead comes into the system. They automatically come into your CRM here in these little red boxes. This is a new lead. Let's say that guy's name is Peter. So Peter comes into the system, and you pick up the phone and you give them a call. But you can't get hold of him, and just go straight through to the message bank. When you're in the CRM, you simply drag him over to the attempted contact field, and then this sequence will automatically run without you doing anything. You don't have to take notes. You don't have to make any comments. You don't have to do anything except drag that box over to here. What then happens is Peter will automatically receive an email that says something like, "Hey Peter, I just tried to make contact with you. Thanks for getting in touch with us. Here's my information. Give me a call when you're free." Then it will also send an SMS message, because SMSs are read so much more than emails. Just in case the email went into the junk mail, Peter's going to get an SMS to say, "Hey Peter, it's Steve from Building Boom. Here's my mobile number if you want to contact me directly." And then Peter gets that on his phone. Now, if Peter doesn't respond, this will automatically push him back here into the new leads. So you know he's still a new lead, but he's not yet in discussion with us. We haven't been able to have a conversation. So I'm still doing the initial follow-up to try to get him on the phone. A couple of technical things happen here then. We don't want to keep going backwards and forwards between new leads and attempted contact. So we set up some triggers here to say, well, we know now that Peter's been in here once. So it means we've followed up with him once already. We set a task that automatically comes into this follow-up to follow Peter up again in 4 hours' time. And as that task pops up, we give Peter another call. And if we miss him, hey Peter, how you going? It's Steve from Building Boom. Give me a call when you're free. We simply drag him back in here. This automatically then flags to say, hey, Peter's been in here twice. So it doesn't send him the same email, doesn't send him an SMS. In this case, it sends him email number 2, which is a slightly different message. And in another day's time, it throws Peter back into here so that you'll know to follow him up. And you might do this system 4, 5, 6 times, however many times you want to set that you know works. And each time they come in here, a different email is sent, perhaps an SMS is sent or not, and a tag is added so that you know how many times we've followed him up. After a certain number of times, you might say, you know what, we've followed up with Peter enough, he's not communicating with us, he's not responding to the emails, perhaps he's just not ready yet. We're not going to throw Peter back here. Instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to automatically, after the 4th attempt, or however many you set, we're automatically going to send him into a different automation. And that's going to send a sequence of emails over maybe 3 months. So that Peter's just going to see email communication with you until he's ready for such a time to reach out, pick up the phone, and actually book that appointment. This way, all these tasks, email follow-up, SMS follow-up, writing in a new task or a new appointment time to give him a call, are automatically done. And so your sales team or yourself, if you're a small builder, you're not spending all that energy writing and typing and using this CRM. You're simply making the CRM work for you. Now, let's say you get Peter on the phone and he then says, hey, thanks, I got your email, or I got your SMS. Yeah, look, I've got a couple of questions. And you work through that process and then you start to qualify that actually, you know what, Peter's got a block, he's got the right building budget, he might actually be a good client for us. You might have additional sales material that you use to help get people across the line and to book this design meeting. So it might be simply that he says, I really love this design on your website. Can you send me some more information, perhaps like your pricing guide, your specification sheet, or it might be a case study that you've done or something like that. You get off the phone to Peter and you simply drag him into the info pack column of your CRM. And this will automatically send out information on your behalf. So again, it saves you typing it. It's a boilerplate message that says, hi Peter, here's our standard catalogue of designs. There's a little bit more information about our design process. Here's the case study that we created of this particular project we did for Mr. and Mrs. XYZ, as well as our pricing and our specifications. So Peter gets this. What you can then do is then automatically bring this into the discussion field. So you know that 3 days after sending him this info pack, he's going to get a follow-up phone call. And you can tell him that on the phone. But what happens is it just automates and alleviates a lot of the mundane tasks that you would generally do. When they come into discussion, this is where you're going to start to manually work with your CRM. Keep notes, met with Peter, had a great meeting, he likes this design, we'd like to book in a time to meet with our architect or our designer, and then start to move them towards this end of the sales funnel. So I hope that's helped. I hope that's given you a few ideas. Now, not all CRM software can do this. For most builders we recommend, and that we work with, we recommend and use ActiveCampaign. If you haven't heard of it, it's marketing automation software. It helps do all of this once you've set it up, and it lets you automate a lot of the mundane tasks that you would normally do, not only for your CRM, but your email marketing, can introduce SMS, can introduce things like chat boxes on your website for website visitors, all sorts of things. So have a look at ActiveCampaign if you want. We're not saying that that's the one that you need to use, it's just what we use, but it will help you remove the heavy lifting for a lot of the stuff that you that's just repetition for your sales team. I hope this has helped. For more great info, visit us at buildingboom.com.au.